Hey y'all, so I haven't done a video in a while on this channel. I have been over on my teaching channel mostly, but I wanted to talk to y'all about dog gallbladder disease because we have just gone through this a couple of months ago with my dog Paxton, and there are a couple videos of Pax on here. I have one from years and years ago where he was jumping through a hula hoop. And so, some of you who might have been following me for a while may have seen him, so I just wanted to update, and sorry about my hair, you guys, I haven't even. Anyways, let me see if I can get this under control. Alright, so Paxton started off with just kind of throwing up a little bit, maybe like once or twice a week there for a couple of weeks, and he's always kind of been a little bit like sensitive to eating things, so I didn't think a lot of it. I started kind of getting concerned, but then one day he threw up like 3 times in the morning, and that was definitely weird. And then by the afternoon, right before he was about to eat, he threw up 2 more times, and I called the vet, and they were like, yeah, it could be anything, it's, we don't know exactly what it is, but, keep an eye on it, and I would say if he throws up again, bring him in. So, he threw up, and he threw up about 3 or 4 more times, and so that was about, I don't know, I lost count, but it was about 8 or 9 times in a day that he had thrown up. So I took him to the emergency vet. As far as I knew, he hadn't eaten anything weird. I'm pretty good about watching stuff like that for the most part. They're not really outside unsupervised, so I knew, it wasn't anything like that. And so they did some x-rays, and, I took him to the emergency clinic, and they saw that he had an enlarged gallbladder, very enlarged and full of what they call sludge, is what they said. His stomach was clearly very sensitive, like when they pressed on it and everything. And yeah, so they put him on antibiotics, and they said that they really thought he needed to be monitored overnight. They thought that he really needed to be monitored overnight. So we left him there. They kept track of everything. They gave him some anti-nausea stuff, and then they gave him something for his liver, because his liver was definitely off too. So just kind of the whole list of everything. He had pancreatitis. It's like everything just got crazy. And so they were worried that his gallbladder would actually rupture, and they thought that he might need to have gallbladder surgery. So that's a really big expense. I mean, that's a really in-depth surgery, and they were saying it would be, $6,000 plus. Now, we do have pet insurance, so, there's that, but that still doesn't cover all of it. Plus, it's just a really risky surgery. So we decided to kind of wait and see. And they monitored him overnight, and he didn't eat anything, and he had stopped throwing up though. So the next morning I went and picked him up and took him back over to my regular vet to be monitored for the rest of that day because the emergency clinic was closing. So I took him over there, and he was just, just not doing well. And I was just a hot mess. That was, for one thing, like the first night that, he'd ever been at the vet or anything like that. So, of course, I was really worried. And then it was like it could rupture at any point. And, I just didn't know what to do. And, he's just like my baby. And, out of Penelope, Max, and Pax, like he's just been the one that's been around. He was the one that helped me through when Micah died and everything. So it was just a really, really hard time for me. And, you could tell he was just really miserable. So he stayed at the vet that whole day. And then I went and we picked him up that night. I took him back over to the emergency clinic because they really just wanted to keep monitoring him. And then he spent the next day. So he spent 2 full days and 2 full nights in the vet or the, pet clinic or hospital. They finally decided that he could come back, but they did another like ultrasound and it hadn't gotten any better. And so that was really concerning, because with the antibiotics and everything, like they were definitely expecting that it would have gotten better, and it hadn't. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm just like a hot mess at this point, you know, and just not knowing what to do. And I was getting conflicting advice. Like, my regular vet was kind of like, just give him the meds. It's going to take time. He was on this liver medicine called Urocidol or something like that. And he was on about 3 other medications. I honestly don't even remember what they were at this point. I should have looked it up before I did this video, but I didn't, so I don't know what they were. But that's okay. But either way, so yeah, and so then the emergency vet was like, I'm pretty sure this thing is going to rupture. But then again, you know, they're more, the emergency, you know, it's kind of the ER doctors and stuff, they're looking for more problems, I guess. So we just decided to wait it out and see, and I had a really hard time getting him to take his pills. He was getting very, very aggressive, and I couldn't even hide the pills like in any food because he wouldn't eat any food. Like, he didn't want to eat anything. Like, and you know, he's the dog that like will pick up every single scrap that you know, like acts like he's starving 24/7 usually, but he wouldn't even eat boiled chicken. And he would eat nothing, like not peanut butter. I mean, I tried like everything. So it was kind of about 2 full weeks of just worrying about him, watching him, like carrying him up and down the steps, and you know, it was just a mess. And that was back in May, and that's also like the month that Micah died and everything. So you know, it was just a really, really hard month for me. But you guys, like, he made what seems to be, that's been 3.5 months ago, and he has seemed to have made a full recovery. He's eating normally. He's super active, like more active than he was even before. I've changed his food, and that is one big thing that I want to talk to y'all about. Is I had switched him to a very cheap food. It just got expensive feeding them like science diet, and I was just trying to cut some costs, and I switched him to Purina Smart Blend. And once I did that, Max, my Morkie, ended up getting yeasty skin, yeast in his ears, just kind of like yeasty everywhere and itchy and stuff like that. So I had to take him to the vet for that. And then Pax like had the pancreatitis and the gallbladder stuff. And I don't want to say anything bad about Purina because I don't have a problem with the company, but I do like 100% think that was the reason that he had that issue. And I have now switched them. They both are back on science diet now, and Pax is on the ID, which is like the prescription one of it. So that's kind of what we're doing. Things seem to be really great, and that was kind of our story with that.